Welcome back to another episode of the Educated and the Reckless podcast with your host, Apollo P. and
nobetternina.
And I am back with a bowl of watermelon brought to you by my friend Shanika.
Shout out to Shanika.
Yeah, that's my best friend.
Aw.
Go best friend, go best friend, go.
Wish my best friend would bring me fruits.
What type of fruit do you like?
I really like mangoes. That's my favorite fruit.
All right.
And pineapples.
Okay. All right. You hear that, right? Your best friend, go get that for her.
Yeah.
All right.
He's not
so
gonna get it for me.
Oh, okay. That's her.
I don't even think he listens to the
podcast.
It's all good.
That hurts.
Yeah.
All right. So, what have you been up since the last time we recorded the podcast?
So the last time we recorded, I didn't really do a lot. I started this new show, Little Fires Everywhere. It's on Amazon, and a lot of people have been talking about it.
You got Amazon Prime?
Yeah, I got it.
7 days or just the whole thing?
No, I ended up just getting the whole thing because I keep signing up for a trial and then canceling and then canceling and then trialing, and it's just annoying. Yeah, so I just wanted to try, and I wanted to see what the TV stuff was like, right? So it's starring Reese Witherspoon and Kerry Washington. It's actually really good. I finished it in like 2 days, and it's 8 episodes. Each episode. Oh. Yeah, 8 episodes an hour long.
Okay.
But yeah, it was pretty good. And then I watched the Insecure season finale. Did you watch it?
No, I haven't watched that shit since we talked about it.
Okay. Well, I watched the season finale, and there was something else I remembered.
Oh yeah, the internet spoiled it for me. Who's pregnant, by the way?
I don't want to tell you until you watch it.
I said the internet spoiled it for me. I don't know who is. Is it the girl that?
So then it's not fully spoiled.
But I know that Lauren's got.
Oh, you know who? Oh, yeah, it's that. Yeah, it's that girl. That girl that he was dating.
The dating.
Spoiler alert.
Her best friend told her that she wasn't serious about nothing, right?
Yeah, that girl.
Oh, word.
Yeah, the one whose house they were at that time, right? That's what you're talking about. Yeah. Condola. So
that's
I watched that, and then there's something else that I did. Fuck, what was it? I don't remember. Yeah, I guess that's all I did. I didn't really do much. I got drunk again this weekend, but like I haven't got that drunk in a very long time. So I bought these cards from Amazon. They're called These Cards Will Get You Drunk. Basically, you have the deck of cards and you flip it and you read it, and it's like everyone wearing jeans takes a drink, or switch shirts with the person next to you if it's physically impossible, drink. Ask a player a truth, and if they lie, they drink, and shit like that. So it was actually a really fun game. I blacked out. I don't remember really what happened the rest of the night. But like when I say I black out, if you guys know me, like I'm not dead. I'm alive. You think I'm good and I'm gonna remember everything, but then I wake up the next day and I'm like, what the fuck even happened? So yeah, that happened. But yeah, that's basically all I really did. Yeah. Anyways, what'd you do?
I did a few things.
Oh, I know what it was.
What? Go ahead.
It's not what I did. It's what I was going to say, because stage 2 of the reopening in Ontario has happened. And this Friday, Vaughan actually gets to reopen, like York Region, because you guys over there are fucking up. And we were fucking up in the beginning, but like, now we're getting better, which means I just texted my nail girl and I asked her if the nail salon's opening up, and she said yeah, so I could stop having little boy hands and actually get nails.
Yeah, so Vaughan is opening up, and everywhere else, Durham region are opening up.
Yep.
The only ones that aren't opening up is Peel region, or no, Brampton specifically, I think.
Brampton, I think Mississauga as well, and Toronto's not opening up either.
Yeah, so
yeah.
The bigger municipalities are not open up.
I heard people in Brampton have been having house parties, so.
Oh yeah, but I can't say exactly, but I do see some people on my Snapchat having people over, turning up.
I seen it in Scarborough too, you know.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people just gave up on the whole quarantine thing and was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna live my life. If I get it, I got it.
Yeah, no one in Vaughan has been doing that.
They're gonna splurge on that CERB money.
Yeah.
Anyways, and they extended it.
They did extend that. Okay, so what did you do now?
Well, what did I do exactly, right? So I'm glad that you asked that. So last week after the podcast, the day after the podcast, I went to this waterfalls area that has been the best kept secret from Negroes for a while now. The reason why I said Negroes is just satire.
Oh, I thought it was like a serious thing. Like black people weren't allowed there or something.
No, it's just. So I went to it. It was called Ducey Falls. Ducey
Oh, I
Falls.
thought the way you pronounce it is DQ.
I don't know, man.
I don't know either.
DCU. I don't really know.
You went to a waterfall.
I went to a waterfalls. Yeah, it's in St. Catherine. It's close to Niagara Falls. But this one, you're able to get up and close, right?
Okay.
And there's 2 waterfalls. So I went to the first one. I didn't get a chance to go to the second one just because timing, and it was kind of difficult to get to that first one. Like you had to go through like a downward trail, and it was a lot of effort you had to do. And I was with like 3 other girls too. So we kind of just got content with just being at the first one for as much of time as we were. I really enjoyed it. I got some pictures out of it, and I was able to go like, oh wow, this is cool. Let's go to more waterfalls in the near future. But that friend group that I went with, that shit went left out of nowhere. So I don't know if I'll be going to the next fall with that particular group, which I had a great time with. I'm not gonna lie. I had a lot of fun with those guys. But I don't know what's gonna happen after that. So I do know that there's another waterfalls I want to try out too. It's called Smoky Hollow Small Falls. It's somewhere in like Hamilton.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna check that out. And I know there's other waterfalls within inside the Hamilton area as well.
Yeah, Devil's Punch Bowl looks really cool. I've seen that one a lot.
I want to see that. I want to go do that. And Webster Falls as well. I want to check that out. So I'm gonna do that. And I also want to go to Grand Bend, if you ever heard of that, which is like on the. I guess this is east, lower east or south. So it's on the east side of Southern Ontario.
On the bend.
That makes sense. Yeah, Grand Bend. It's it's along the Muskoka line.
Oh, okay.
Whatever that is then called.
I don't think I've ever been up there.
Yeah, and I bought a whole bunch of sneakers off Goat over the course of a few months, and I actually got them to come into Canada, but those duties, I got taxed on duties, and I was like, what the fuck? I gotta find another way to get these sneakers.
How much were your duties?
So I got 4 sneakers, and they all came out with $100 plus, so $400.
Oh shit!
Yeah, over $400. Yeah,
that's a lot of duties.
Fucking,
you should make friends over the border.
I do got friends over the border. Remember my guy to royalty? I didn't think.
No, but not even in LA, like right at the Buffalo Niagara border, and then just drive there and pick them up one day and drive back.
No, I don't trust them guys. Is the border even open?
No, but if you go on Tinder, a long time ago when I used to go on Tinder, if you set the kilometers to the maximum, you can get. If I can get it in Vaughan, you can get it in Brampton. You can.
You think so?
You get people in Buffalo.
All right, I'm gonna try that out.
Match a girl on Tinder and then ask her to keep.
I only got Tinder. I got Hinge.
I tried Hinge before. What do you think of it?
Hinge is good. Hinge is cool. Hinge is like a good app, depending on Tinder. You kind of know what you're getting on Tinder.
Tinder's just fucking. Yeah, that's literally all it is.
Hinge is like, if you're trying to get that to relationship, then you could get that. Maybe if you could. I haven't got anything outside of Hinge, to be honest. I was been traveling, and ever since I got Hinge, I've been at home, so it's kind of hard to really gauge it.
I will say I did notice at one point in time, all the same people I used to see on Tinder ended up on Hinge. Like I used to get the same people coming up, and I was like, "What the fuck?" So,
well, I can't necessarily say that because I wasn't on Tinder that long when I got here. I was on Tinder traveling around, so I can't necessarily agree with that.
Yeah, I heard Bumble is a good one, but that's one where the girl has to make the first move. Yeah, but
all right, let's get into it.
Yeah. So first thing, there was a shooting at the Houdini, the vigil for Houdini.
Oh yeah, that shit was so fucking crazy.
60 rounds or 60 shots?
60 shots.
Fire.
Rounds is rounds. How many you get in a clip? 15 a clip?
I don't know.
That's fucking 15 times 60.
That's a lot of math. Like that's a lot. Like yeah, when I saw the video, I was just like, what the? I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
This beef is gonna keep going. It doesn't just stop at one person. It's neighborhood to neighborhood. It's gonna keep going. Like that's why I'm not surprised. But
it's very bad.
Yeah.
Well, it's bad to look at. It's like when you're outside looking in and you see that video of people just mourning their friend or their confidant or their compadre, and they're like just remembering them, and they're just trying to have that moment with their other people. And as they're doing that, people are trying to dump out the car at them, trying to catch them lacking.
Yeah.
That shit is crazy. But I guess that comes with the lifestyle, I guess.
I guess, yeah. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, none of those from what I see, no one got hurt.
Which brings another point. I swear this has been another point.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it, because I know you're talking about. Don't say it. Yes, no, don't say it. I saw the video as well. I looked at it and I was like, damn, people shoot like that for real? No, I don't want to laugh. Fuck, I don't want to laugh.
And they still miss.
It was a lot, man. But like I said,
that's what I'm saying. It doesn't I just don't understand.
But like I said, no one got hurt. That's great. I'm pretty sure people are probably stirred up from it.
It's good, yeah. It's just it's just so it's just not a good thing.
That's a blessing. It's a blessing that we can say it's a blessing that none of these people are proficient in firearm shooting. It's great. It's great.
Anyways, the other thing that happened, so I saw briefly on Instagram, Lids manager in Ottawa refused to embroider Black Lives Matter on a hat. Someone asked for it to get embroidered on there because the manager said the message is too political.
When did they have any type of, I've only got one thing embroidered from Lids before, but I'm not quite sure what's their policy on what can be embroidered and what
Me neither,
can't.
but I think this is a little this is just a cover for the person's ass. I think if you were fully aware of what's happening in the world today, this just shows that you don't agree with it. It's not a you're not going to get fired over it. No one's going to go and tell the whole world that Lids did. If anything, you're making the company look good. So I don't know.
I guess some companies want to stay neutral.
That's
right?
true, but that's stupid. Well, in my opinion, I guess I don't own a company, so I can't say, but that's stupid to me.
You could say it's stupid, but at the same time, you don't necessarily want to fall in what we call tribalism or pandering with a particular political side, because you might alienate other people, or you might, bring about cognitive dissonance from your other group of people. So you want to stay neutral. Over time, staying neutral won't necessarily get you to a backlash as much as picking a side. But I mean, the company itself doesn't have to endorse it per se, but they could still fulfill orders as if, but then again, now if you want to have any type of other hate groups, or not hate groups, but any type of politically charged groups come in and you want to deny them, then it might be creating more of a controversy for there. So I guess not trying to stick with anything political in terms of embroidering and stuff on your products might be the best way to go long term.
Maybe. But I don't know. I just think I don't know. Maybe I just think right from wrong. That's all.
I guess. I mean, sometimes political stuff scares people, and that's all right.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're going to get into pop culture. Oh man, this watermelon's hitting, man. This watermelon's hitting. All right, so we're gonna talk about this, right? I want to start off by saying, Nina, myself, I could say myself. I'm not quite sure about Nina. I'm gonna ask her right now. But when it comes to celebrities, I don't put too much stock in what they have to say. Okay. I look at celebrities as they came to fame through whatever avenue they came to fame through. And most of the times when celebrities come into fame, it's never through political views or politically charged views. It's more so through, acting, through the arts, or maybe entertainment or sports and stuff like that. So when I see, Offset or Snoop Dogg say this, that, and the third about their president, I'm not necessarily taking that with I'm taking that with a grain of salt, because they may just speak their opinion, which might be based in their following, that, they may not like Donald Trump, and Snoop Dogg may say, fuck Donald Trump. But Snoop Dogg is not really saying much more than fuck Donald Trump.
Okay.
And that brings me to ask you this. What do you think about Offset saying that he's voted for the first time, 20-something years old?
I can't say much on that because I am gonna be 25 in November, and I've never voted for a federal election.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Whoa, who do I have? Who am I doing this podcast with? Talking about shit too political?
Don't you remember my first time voting was when the whole provincial election and the whole.
You didn't vote for Justin?
I didn't vote.
Justin, the election for Justin was just back in October.
Wait, did I? Was it that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was that. That's when I voted.
Oh.
That's when I voted
shit.
on. That's when I voted on, because I was like, oh, I didn't vote for Justin. I voted for my boy Jagmeet. But
that shows where I stand. Where my vote.
I was saying I voted because I got fucked over with the whole provincial elections. Like, I never voted before because I was never personally affected. It's selfish, yes, I know. And then once I became personally affected with Doug Ford, that's when I decided that I'm gonna start voting and educating myself a little more. So yeah, that's what I did.
Okay, so you know what? I was gonna come on this mic and be really tough on Offset, but the thing with Offset has an excuse, right? His excuse is that he had felonies or some type of a criminal record that prevented him from voting. Snoop Dogg, he's an old ass motherfucker talking about how he has never voted, but the last 4 years, maybe 5 years, he's been really politically charged. He's been helping Diddy with the vote or die shit, or vote, get your boy out. But he could say that at the age of almost 50, he had never voted in his life. And now, okay, cool. So he said he's voting, right? Now, who is he? He's probably going to just say he's going to vote for, who the fuck's running against Trump?
I don't really know.
Joe Biden.
Oh yeah, right, Joe Biden. Yeah,
Joe Biden. So he might vote, Joe Biden, but he's not bringing anything to the forefront. He's not saying what he's doing, why he's voting, and what he wants from the candidate that he's voting for. He has no political agenda. Not even agenda. He has nothing. He has nothing that he wants from the political opponents. You know what I mean? So I look at Snoop Dogg. I've been looking at Snoop Dogg as a fucking joke for maybe like 6 years now. I'm gonna be honest with you. I look at him as a fucking joke, and it's no disrespect. I respect his arts, but when he talks, I look at him as a fucking joke, man. Because he just.
Did you say you respect his arts?
No, his art. I like his art. I like Snoop Dogg, the artist. Snoop D-O-double-G.
You respect his eyes. No, sorry.
I respect his art. I respect his art, but mostly like everything outside of just music, when it comes to him and being a pimp, or him being a politically charged guy, or him doing the whole Snoop line shit, I look at that all as goofy shit, to be honest.
Yeah.
But when it just comes to him just doing his, the G-Funk and all that rapping stuff, I'd be like, yo, Snoop Dogg's a man. But
I get what you're saying. I can agree with that. If you haven't voted and then you were able to vote within these past couple of years and you didn't, and now you're speaking politically on it. But then again, it could also be one of those things where it's like you were like me and you didn't think you were going to be that directly impacted by it, and then you ended up getting that directly impacted. So let's see if he votes now.
So Snoop Dogg's been. You gotta think about Snoop Dogg got decades on you. So Snoop Dogg is in his 40s, close to 50s. So I can understand, not even understand, but you could give him the 20s. All right, maybe when he got to his 20s, he was like, fuck it. Got to his 30s. Come on, bro. 40s. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Almost 50. Come on, bro.
Yeah, I hear you. I never thought like, I always said, I might get like attacked for this. I always said like, I didn't think I was going to be voting for like a long time. So I was like, at least by the time I hit 30, like I have to start voting.
And see, and this is what the problem with us young folk is, that we think that we have time to change instead of trying to change right now.
Well, I did it 5 years early, so that's good. Or 6 years early, so that's
fucked up. That's fucked up.
But it's good that it's better late than never. Late. I don't really know what you would consider that.
I guess. All right. So that's why I say I don't put too much stock in what celebrities have to say about political things, right? They might turn, the blind. They might turn, you know, the ignorant eye of their audience into something that's positive. But that's the most pull I'm giving a celebrity at that, this advertisement. I'm gonna be really short on this. You watched it? Do you get a chance to watch or hear about the Dave Chappelle special that came out?
I heard about it. I did not watch it though. I don't watch stand-up comedy. It doesn't make me laugh.
It wasn't much of a stand-up. It was more so Dave Chappelle, artistic. He was on stage, yes, but it wasn't funny. It was more so of a serious tone. Yeah. And I looked at it and I was like, wow. This guy really took the time to do that. And I really appreciated that.
I'll be honest with you, with everything happening in the world, like I've been trying, when I watch things like for like leisurely purposes, I haven't really been necessarily watching a lot of things that correlate with what's actually going on, just because I feel like for me personally, that's like, it's just kind of hard. Like I've already seen a lot of the things.
You're drained.
I'm not drained. It's just emotionally, it's hard. Like I've already seen all of those, like, you know, those movies and stuff that people are recommending, like, oh, watch 13th or watch When They See Us, and like I've seen those. I haven't seen 13th. I've seen When They See Us, and like that was hard enough for me. So I understand it's a lot harder for the Black community actually living it and stuff. But yeah, so like Little Fires Everywhere, it touches a little bit on the racial indifferences, but it's not too heavy on it. So yeah, I didn't watch Dave Chappelle's thing.
Yep. If anyone's listening to it, go watch it. It's 8:46, 8 minutes and 46 minutes or 46 seconds.
46 seconds, yeah.
It's good. It's good. Good.
And that's supposed to play on the time that the officer was on George Floyd's neck.
So no jokes. I mean, he's a funny person by nature, but no jokes. It's really just like straight to it. And I'm like, damn. Yeah. That's hard. So if anyone that watches it, go check it out. You'll be
pleasantly surprised.
Exactly. And so Nina, how many Nigerians do you know by show of hands?
You?
Yeah.
I had some friends in Baltimore, but I'm not close with them anymore.
Okay.
I'm mostly still close with the Ethiopians. You're the only one I talk to right now who's Nigerian.
All right, so one.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah. So the question is, have Nigerians solidified their spots as the best scammers in the world? Let's keep it a buck.
You know what? I always think about that time that those two Indian twins from Mississauga went to Nigeria and played all the Nigerian political people and stuff and got a bunch of money and shit from them. So I would have said yes before that, but then that happened and I'm like, how did you guys get scammed? That's my opinion.
Well, those girls didn't make it out.
No, they didn't.
That means they got caught.
That's true. That's true. Nigerians. They did get caught at the airport in Dubai. The Interpol flagged them. Yeah. I was stalking them the other day. That's how I remembered that. Funny enough.
Yeah, they're so good. They're glad that the Canadian government helped them out of that sticky stitch. But I said the reason why I said that is because this Nigerian scammer who goes by the name Ray Hush Puppy.
Yes.
The same girl, the same area, the same country that those Indian girls got flagged down is where Hush Puppy got locked up, man.
And he's from that. He's actually from Nigeria.
He's a Nigerian scammer.
Okay.
he pulled off some big scam, getting like the stimulus checks that people were getting, and he made like 740 something plus scams. So he made like some millions, man.
And I read that those checks are supposed to go to the Indigenous community.
Oh, Nigerians are heartless, man.
When I read that part, like at first I was like, all right, whatever. And then I read that part and I'm like, man. Yeah.
Niger boys take no loss. But they have taken a loss. The Niger boys have taken a loss.
Yeah.
So I saw that and I was like, God damn, man. They locked up this guy. And apparently he was stunting and strutting on Instagram. And before he got locked up, he had made a post talking about how people wished on his downfall. And those prayers have most definitely come true. Because this man is locked. He's locked up. He's down, man. He's down bad, man. Have you ever heard of the term 419?
No, I saw that on the page and I don't know what that is.
So 419 is the number used as I think it's a Nigerian area code.
Okay.
But it's often used to refer to scams from Nigeria. And
so when
419,
someone calls you from that, it's a scam?
Yeah, or the process of scamming is called 419 scam. Or when you get an email saying I'm a Nigerian prince and I got about $50,000, but I'm gonna need you to send me about $3K so I could.
Oh,
give
like
you
the one those white people on Dr. Phil falls for.
Yep. 419 scams. So I could be wrong, but I am, man. All right, I just want to put that out there, man.
The more you know.
The Nigerians are taking a loss. And that also, I just want to say this real quick. I've been taking up a lot of, watching a lot in African history, not just West African, but like African as a whole, Egyptian down to like Southern to like Western to Eastern. Exactly. And I just been realizing that maybe one day I would like to share a little bit of my knowledge, what I learned, but I would like to just say that obviously there's a lot of ethnic groups in Africa themselves. And with that being said, with those ethnic groups, they all share different languages, dialects, religious beliefs, and perspectives on life. So, and it's kind of hard to say that all Africans can get along because they come from a continent, and they usually bundle Africans together as if there is no, difference between each ethnic group and stuff like that. Within the country I come from, there's plenty of ethnic groups and people in there. There's the Yoruba, the Igbo, the House of Fulani. Those are the bigger groups. And oftentimes there is difference between those, and they have different perspectives and different lifestyle and cultures, all wrapped in within inside one country. And we could say that throughout the continent of Africa. So one day I'll get back into that, but I just wanted to share that.
It's true. It is true. Like even as kids, I remember people saying like Africa was a country, and it's like, no, that's the continent.
Yeah.
There's a lot more countries in it.
Yeah. So I mean, from what reading all that, I'm able to see like the difference why quote unquote maybe Black people may not want to get together and do certain things, just because when you talk about white history, European history, you're able to see like the Romans are able to go in and rape and pillage the Celtics, or the people from the Greece people and stuff like that. And those they don't. And when people talk about European history, they don't bundle white on white and say, "Yo, that was a white on white crap." They're different ethnic groups.
Oh, yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah,
you know what I mean. So
that's true.
I would like to bring that to the forefront. Although I'm not going to be like hard pounding it. I mean, at certain times I would like to just distinguish that. I mean, one day people will get a catch on to it, but
that's a good point, especially considering we had a comment in our post last week about Black on Black crime. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get back to it. So Game took a big loss. You saw that? So he has to pay out this girl about $7 point something million.
Yeah.
Because of during his online reality show, he had sexually assaulted her, allegedly by what she has said. Nothing went to the criminal court; it was just civilly. So she won. She won the case more so by a default judgment because he just never showed up to court.
I didn't know that.
I would say like a dumbass. And so she was trying to get the money for a very long time, and he moved all his monies and assets to his manager Whack 100's name. So he technically is broke, right? And so with that being said, the woman can no longer get money from him because on the books he is broke. But so what the court has done was seize the Game's assets in terms of royalties. And now whatever the Game makes musically through royalties will go straight to her. So she's gonna, eventually get the money unless he figures out a way to not make the royalties in his name, and so she can never get nothing.
They swear they stopped him from being able to do that too, from what I read.
So he fucked himself over.
He's fucked, but at the same time, if he moved all his stuff over to his manager, he could just easily get that back, no?
Yeah. So he's able to like Whack 100, or this is by terms of what academics were saying. Whack 100 has his house, his assets, his bank accounts in his name. So he's able to make, still spend his money just through Whack's names and stuff like that. So he's still good, right? He's so good. It's just that, things, he just
won't be making any more unless he's going on like a tour or something, which obviously will not be happening anytime soon.
So he might do what 50 Cent did and file for bankruptcy chapter 11, so he can reposition his finances and get his money back. But he said he vows to never pay, by his words, pay that bitch. He said that.
Well, I don't think that would go very well for him. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
How big of a loss do you think this is from a scale of 1 to 10?
Like 6.
You say
I just
6?
don't think it's that bad, just because he still has his money now. Like, it would be different if that big pot of money had to all go away, because then he wouldn't have a lot left to work with. Well, I don't know how much he's worth, but he would be 7 million shorter right away, versus now it's like he has what he has. He could build on that in other ways, and he just has to give us other stuff.
I say it's a 10.
Okay.
You could have avoided it.
If you showed up to court.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. You could have avoided it. Yeah.
It's just stupidity.
Because 7 mils, that's tough to give it to a person you don't want to. That's tough. She already got 70 grand.
Yeah.
He could have. To be honest, he probably could have broke her off 500K.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
And she would have been happy.
Yeah. Well.
All right. So, did you watch that video of Lil Twist talking about how Justin, when he used to hang around and run around with Justin Bieber, they would blame him for the drugs and the.
I heard about this. First of all, I don't even remember Lil Twist hanging around. And I'm a believer. Like, I was a Justin Bieber fan. I used to listen to Lil Twist too when he was with the whole Young Money thing. Him, and there was another young one. Who was the
Little
other
Chucky?
one? Yeah, both of them.
Whatever happened to Chucky?
I don't know, but the both of them I remember. And I don't remember this ever like, maybe I was just oblivious to it because I was a kid, but like I don't remember this ever like being a thing. So like, what, they made him take Justin Bieber's weed charges and stuff?
Yeah, apparently they made it. So Lil Twist rapper turned fall guy.
Mm-hmm.
So he would say, hey man, just take the charge. You're okay because you're rolling with Young Money. It's not going to affect you that bad. This, that, and the third.
And because you're a rapper.
Yeah. Yeah. And so they would start to blame him for things when he wasn't even around. Just put, Lil Twist did it. Lil Twist did it, that,
Mm-hmm.
this, that, and the third. And, that's unfortunate, but like, that's his fault.
It is. Well, one, it's his fault for agreeing with it in the first place, excuse me. But it did remind me of, in the show Little Fires Everywhere that I was watching,
yeah,
there's a couple parts where Reese Witherspoon's daughter, who's obviously white, like super white privileged girl in the show, super rich, whatever, she gets pregnant and she goes and gets an abortion, and she tells Kerry Washington's daughter meets her at the clinic when she's already there and filled out the forms, and the doctor calls her name, and she calls Kerry Washington's daughter's name because the white girl didn't want her name down in the clinic as having had an abortion.
Yeah.
And this was like set in 1990s, so like that's also part of the reason. And her mom's friend worked at the clinic.
Yeah.
And like Kerry Washington ended up telling her daughter after, when she found out, like, I wish this girl would see you as more than just someone she can use because you're black.
Yeah.
It's like this literally reminded me of that. Exactly that.
Yeah, that type of behavior you don't want to involve yourself in or agree to. Don't put yourself down for other people.
Yeah,
because that's value yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it just don't let that shit slide.
So when I saw that Little Twist, I'm like, do I feel sorry for him? No. I mean, I thought he was a rapper, to be honest with you, and I thought he was gonna go places. But you want to end up turning to Justin Bieber's lackey and boy, and because you're riding around his Lamborghini on some hoe shit. That's what you sound like. You sound like a hoe. You had the double R's in the back. You know what I mean? Like, I guess he was a kid at the time, but he was older than Justin Bieber. So how much of a kid could you be?
I don't know.
I
do feel a little bad for him though, because I feel like maybe he was just so naive to it all. He thought it was cool and it was going to help him with maybe having the similar type of career that Justin Bieber had. I don't know.
Where did Justin Bieber go, and where did Little Twist go?
Justin Bieber is currently in Pushlink Lake, just by Stratford, married to Hailey Bieber in a $5 million
he's back in Canada. Are you saying
that? He's been in Canada.
Okay, man.
He's been making quarantine videos on the lake. I'm trying to go to that lake. If anyone wants to come with me. Anyone got a boat?
I have not seen that. But hey, man, Justin Bieber. Also, I want to say this again. We said this the first time, but it was not confirmed. It was all alleged. But Iggy Azalea has came out and said that she has had a child.
A boy.
A boy with
presumably
allegedly Playboy Cardi.
That still hasn't been confirmed.
We don't know. Allegedly Playboy Cardi.
We're just going to assume that it is.
Yes. So,
well, you were right. You've been right about a lot of things.
Yeah, I've been right about a lot of
into
things.
like a fortune teller. Can I ask you some questions about my future?
Hey man, I've been saying if I was white, I'd have been, but I'm not white, so people not really taking the time to listen to me. It's all right though.
It's all right, man. We're gonna get there.
All right. So the fall of B. Simone. Are you familiar with B. Simone?
I know about all the stuff that happened, but where is she from?
I saw on Google it says she's from Texas.
No, not.
Oh! What are you talking about? Where's she from?
How is she famous?
Internet.
Oh,
Famous.
so like there was no like she's not on no Real Housewives or none of that.
No. She came up, through the hard way, I guess.
I kept thinking every time I saw this name, I always get confused with that gymnast girl. What's her name? Simone Biles. Simone Biles. I was confused.
All right. I can see that.
One day I saw it and I'm like, Simone Biles is getting into all this shit for what?
Yeah, so it all really kind of started a downward spiral ever since the protesting, and where she said like she wanted to pray for the protesters and her religion doesn't allow her to protest, and then people were just getting at her. Mm-hmm. She should have did what Desi did and just stayed low, but no, she kept on talking. And so from there, it just went from like that one. She started to protest, and all right, people left that alone. The second misstep that she did is that she got on Nick Cannon's. I wouldn't even call this a misstep. It's just that people internalize. I think people don't like her. A lot of people don't like her.
You think?
And so when you say something that is more really based in your preference and not necessarily dissing anyone else, then people want to take that personally, right? So people have an opinion about everything. So when she said that she doesn't want to date a 9-to-5er, people were like, why do you this, that, and the third? And I think people have the misunderstanding of being 9-to-5 meaning you're working at like Subways or McDonald's, and sort of like 9-to-5 kind of being this bigger umbrella of people working and having a much more flexibility working within like a corporation, whatever have you. But she wants an entrepreneur. So she feels like if she gets an entrepreneur, people would understand her, or the guy that she's dealing with would understand her, the reason why she's up at 3:00 in the morning. She feels like if she has someone 9-to-5, he wouldn't understand, and he'll be in the bed watching her, click on the mouse on the computer and go like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Come here!" And she does, and people flamed her up. Oh man, excuse me.
We're both burping so much.
People flamed her up on the internet for just saying what her preference was, and then her third misstep was her manifest book, right? She started selling that for $33. I'm not quite sure when she started selling it, but she had made $1 million off of selling it. And so I saw viral videos of people getting it and then seeing how flimsical it was. Yeah. Like, you're selling a scrapbook for $33? Yeah. People were disgusted. And so after that, another misstep was where two people accused her of plagiarizing the book, right? Yeah. Plagiarizing the book word for word or with their content and making a profit off it. And then it's like, whoa, the book is trash or flimsical and you plagiarize it. That's why you were up at 3:00 in the morning copying and pasting. That was the joke on the internet. That shit was funny. And so after that, she ended up addressing it and saying that she's going to rectify it and she's going to stop the sales of the book and this, that, and the third. Yeah. You think it's over for her?
No. People love to hate, so they're going to keep watching her and they're going to keep bringing her up, and then she's going to keep coming up, and then eventually she's going to profit off of it. Yeah. Like, people hate a lot of people, but like those people are still famous, like Alexis Sky and Ari Fletcher. So many people hate them, but so many people also love them because other people hate them. So yep. I think that's going to be the case with this. And in regards to the whole 9-to-5 thing, I do think she was also talking about corporate people as well, because that was also brought up in the discussion. However, I used to also be one of those people who said that I wanted to date a creative, like someone who was in the industry. It didn't have to be radio, but it could be another creative like job, whether it's like YouTube or I don't know, like anything else in the creative industry, because I felt like other people wouldn't understand like why I'm chasing this dream and stuff, which isn't necessarily true. I found that out later. But so I guess I can kind of relate with her on that whole thing, but like I didn't necessarily stick to that. So yeah, but I don't think she's like done.
I mean, not to get so deep into it, but like the people that she wants, is she really is she qualified to have those people? Is there another real question that she got to ask herself?
That's true.
And we got about 20 minutes left. We got Stevie J. You see the Stevie J article? You think that man's in an abusive relationship?
I saw it and like, I don't know. I mean, if he had the scratches and stuff, yeah, she definitely abused him.
Yeah, he's in an abusive relationship. There we go.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah. I don't give a fuck about Stevie J too much. He lost his clout after the whole like Love and Hip Hop thing.
Yeah. He's old.
So Nicki Minaj talks about the whole snitching thing. I've been talking about the snitching shit. People snitch, bro. We've been watching, we've been watching 48 Hours.
Well, she said the same thing that Meek kind of said, which was the whole thing. Because Nicki was saying basically the integrity of hip hop is not the same because rappers are talking about shooting guns and doing drugs, but they don't do half of it. And Meek was also saying the same thing about the B. Simone thing, where he's like, why are we giving her shit when like rappers are doing the same thing and still making money off of it?
So this man can see. Meek is a fucking idiot too. I like Meek, but he's a fucking idiot, man.
Yeah, well, that's what he said.
Why is he the voice for the streets? What?
I don't know, because he was in them. Wait, why do you think he's stupid? I don't get it.
Because the fact that he could say that, right, but can't use that same thinking or thought process for Tekashi makes no fucking sense.
I get it. Well,
right?
Nicki took what he said and used it for Tekashi.
Yeah, so Meek is smart enough to know what to say and what not to say, but is dumb enough to know that he could have just said all of it to begin with.
Well, then this just proves that Nicki Minaj is still watching Meek, and Meek actually knows what's going on.
Yeah, Meek is. I don't know why he's the voice of the streets. Like he talks a lot, and a lot of the times he says is just kind of like he contradicts himself a lot. But I mean, life is a contradiction, but like a lot of things could not be a contradiction a lot of times.
Okay, Trae The Truth got
you're off that topic. Right.
Kevin Fenner out of jail.
Emotional moment.
Yeah.
She did it with the same lawyer that helped Kim Kardashian.
Exactly.
I was going to say, where's Kim K when you need her? But she wasn't here. Her people were there.
But that's fine. Yeah. I just think it's funny that not a lot of places covered that. Only World Star hosted that. Like
and the other website that you sent me as well.
Oh, I guess they posted it too. But yeah, so he got out, this guy from jail. He was supposed to die, actually. He was scheduled to die for a small golf ball size of cocaine.
That's disproportionately amount of life sentences for people who do small crimes, which is crazy in America. But glad that man. Oh man, excuse me, I apologize. But I'm glad that man is able to have a second chance.
I know what we can call this episode. Hiccups.
I'm glad to see that man get a second chance at life. It's always a beautiful thing. I know that he probably his time spent in prison was probably very terrible, but now he's able to be reconnected with his family. His son is probably very appreciative to have his father back in his arms instead of watching him through a plastic whatever that thing is called, plexiglass or on the phone, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's glad to see the family come back together. O'Shana O'Brien, what kind of O'Hara O'Brien, O'Shania, Alexis O'Sharon, or whatever his fucking name is, Reddit guy.
No, you're missing one important one that I specifically put it for you. Russell Simmons.
Oh, Russell, come home.
So he talked about the sexual assault allegations, and he said basically like he's seen them. He doesn't believe any of them except for one where this girl said she was sitting in the car and then the car doors locked and she was like, oh shit. And he's like, okay, I could see that one, like how she felt that way because the car doors automatically locked. But he didn't say nothing about coming home.
All right, so here's the thing. I want to be very, very down the middle. Russ Simmons says that he has been doing, or back in those days, he was doing PCP, horse tranquilizer, that hard shit. So he said he took about 9 lie detector tests. Yeah. He passed them. And those have a 95% accuracy 9 times, right? If he was on PCP, right, and he did those things, he would not remember. That drug is so intense that you remember how we're talking about that whole bill of being intoxicated to the point of out of body type of experience and not really knowing your actions. If that is true, the drugs took control of Russell Simmons to the point where he might have done something really, really bad to these females. And he not to say might, but he believes
that he
did not do anything wrong. So if that is the case, I can't necessarily, be at him if he was really out of his fucking mind while doing these drugs and committing some really heinous acts, allegedly. It's one of those type of things. He kind of shot himself in the foot doing the drugs to a point where he had no control of his actions. And with that, we have ourselves a catch-22. Are you going to victimize the man for, allegedly, maybe possibly raping women, but he was out of his mind to where he can't take full accountability for something he believes he didn't do?
Mm-hmm. It's a sticky situation. It's fucked up, whatever he allegedly did to these girls. It's also fucked up if he really was on PCP, that's also
a fucked up drug, man.
The case. So it's just a really sticky situation in that case.
Yeah.
But yeah, he didn't say anything about coming home.
Yeah.
But
he's not coming home.
He's not coming home. He's just gonna stay there. He made statements from Bali, so I don't think he's leaving. And now the whole coronavirus, he should, Anyways, so Michael Seibel, I don't know how you say his last name. He filled Alexis Ohanian's seat with the whole Reddit thing that we were talking about last week, and became Reddit's first Black board member. Okay, so maybe I got it wrong then. Maybe Alexis, but he said he was stepping down as CEO or co-founder, right?
He's stepping down as a member of the board.
So then maybe this is kind of a good thing, because then this person can have input on the board. But if he stepped down as co-founder as well, then he's just stupid for that, in my opinion. But yeah, that's just a quick little follow-up.
Yeah, man. I looked at that. I was like, all right, cool. Also, kind of sad, but Vanessa Bryant says she's blocking all those fan pages. Which I've never been in a situation where I lost someone and that person I lost was so, very beloved by the people to a point where I would see them all the time on my explore page. And I'm not quite sure, people have to deal with how they deal with their grief their own way. So,
Yeah. And what's fucked is speaking of, you never know when you're going to see it. Even in Insecure, actually, the season finale, they showed the mural of Kobe and Gigi. As it seems like it's just part of the show, but obviously it was done on purpose. They showed the Nipsey Hussle basketball court. So I don't blame them. It's obviously really hard to constantly see those videos and pictures and then be like, oh shit, they're not here.
Exactly. Yeah. And Barbara Streisand did something. I'm not quite sure who Barbara Streisand is. I thought Barbara Streisand was the same lady that did the whole fashion police thing.
I don't know, but I know there was a song that was popular on hit radio a couple years ago, about Barbara Streisand.
But Barbara Streisand did something great. So Barbara Streisand did something great for George Floyd's daughter, and gave her stocks in Disney. We don't know the amount of stocks that she gave her, but they said one stock goes for about $115.
And you normally make back your money.
Yeah. So, and that's a great thing for that little girl.
It is. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, her father would be, very
proud.
Gracious.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. So we're in social issues, and fuck, man, how much time we got? We got 12 minutes.
Okay.
12 minutes. All right, so fuck the incel guy. Fuck that. All right, so a series of unfortunate events. It's kind of this is kind of hard. So we see that one man that was shot at a Wendy's. He goes by the name
Drive-through. Wendy's drive-through.
Yeah, shot his, and that was Rayshard Brooks.
Yeah.
Unfortunate situation. To be honest, I didn't even take it upon myself to watch that hour and something body cam footage. I was like, I don't need to see that in my life.
Yeah, you don't need the constant reminder.
The man is deceased, and it was due because he was drunk and he didn't want to drive anymore, and he sounded like he was a very responsible person. And the cops could have just, all of this shit that happened to his life being taken away from him, it really just sounds like just poor poor handling from the officers.
Of course, yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Poor officers. It's just, and also another employee just calling the police.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I was going to say is why, you know what this brings me to is I remember specifically when I was in Baltimore back in 2015, 2016, just after Freddie Gray, the whole Freddie Gray situation had happened. It was Valentine's Day and we were in a PF Chang's. This guy, I think he was in like Nepalese, which is some kind of like brown. He's brown. Right. Came into the restaurant. He was drunk. He was wearing flip-flops in the middle of February when there's snow everywhere. And he was like being really drunk and he was at our table. He kept bothering us. And then he looks at one of the girls and starts flicking his tongue. So obviously the girl freaked out. Like she was very like bothered by that. And we were all just like, what the fuck? So we all got up and we left. But then they kicked him out of the restaurant and he was outside by himself and like he couldn't walk. And then he was like, he would cry and he wasn't speaking English and he would say, my son, but he would just cry. And we were like, what the fuck happened to your son? So like some of the guys we were with were trying to like figure that out. And then one of the chefs from the restaurant came out because he was the same background as him. So he thought he could understand. So I'm standing there and I'm like, guys, why don't we just call an ambulance or call the police? And like, they're frisking him for like a wallet or something to see if we can figure out where he lives. I'm like, guys, why don't we just call the police? Everyone literally looked at me and was like, no, like everyone, that's when I realized I was in America. Like literally every single person in that group looked at me as if I was a psychopath for even suggesting we call the police. And I was like, holy fuck. And that's what this reminds me of is why are you even doing that? Like, you know what's going to happen. So I don't understand why. It's just fucked up.
Yeah. So now that's a new topic of conversation. Like, talk about defunding the whole police and things like that. But fucking, teach these motherfuckers how to handle situations.
Yeah.
Put more common sense in the officers that you're hiring. There's no reason for the gun to come out and for this man to be shot multiple times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no need. Okay, they're saying that everything was going through straightforward. I mean, he did, be somewhat of an aggressor, but that still doesn't need to be. There's no point for that man to die.
Yeah.
Honestly, for that time, I could understand putting him in cuffs and bringing him down to lockdown.
But that's don't don't kill him.
And then there was another man that was found hanging from a tree. They ruled it as a suicide, which
it was not likely at all.
How do you hang?
There's been a few similar deaths within that area over the last couple of days.
So, clearly there's something going on. That's fucked up. And then another body cam officer shows a man choking another man to death. This is America. We don't live in this country, black country, but it's really like, shaking that the fact that we're seeing, human lives, particularly more black lives, are just taken with such carelessness.
Yeah. And it's like they're treated like when this happens to a dog, just know, and I'm not saying this is a degrading thing, but like white people lose their shit when it happens to an animal. But like when it's another human being, they don't care because of the color of their skin. It's fucked up.
It's crazy. We're just seeing just like really gruesome things. And they said that the George Floyd murder really, struck a chord with a lot of people because the length of time that the officer stayed on that man's neck was something that probably didn't sit well with a lot of people. But a lot of these situations where it comes to find out where we're seeing black people being murdered, right, on video, we're starting to see like that is the only type of validation that we have in terms of like our black lives mean something to the other, right?
Yeah.
And so when it's not on video, it's kind of hard to rationale or even believe the statement or the headlines or what's going on around the internet until we see some type of tangible evidence a lot of times. And that's kind of fucked up that we need to see really gruesome videos to
believe that the person was doing nothing wrong.
Yeah. And that's really fucked up. And also here's another one that kind of brought social media into a stir. I don't know how to say her whole name. Was like Oluwaytoyin.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to say her name, but yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's a Nigerian name, but that's a Yoruba name. I'm not too familiar with Yoruba names. Yeah. So what had happened? They were saying that on her social media page, she tweeted about leaving her home because she was being assaulted. by her family and things of that nature. And she was reported missing from January 16th. That's about 10 days ago.
June 16th, you mean?
Oh, June 16th. June 16th.
I was like, what the fuck?
Oh,
June
my
16th.
fault.
Yeah.
June 16th was about 10
No, June
days
6th. It says June 6th on here.
Oh, today's the 16th. June 6th. June 6th. All right. I want to get this right.
Sorry. Yeah. June 6th.
And her body was found over the weekend.
Yeah.
And
she's only 19.
Only 19 years old. And that flooded the internet with tons of videos and pictures of her. And people were just very, very saddened by her loss or her death, because her life was taken by this 47-year-old man. And he also took the life of another woman, a 75-year-old woman as well.
Is this a guy who was related to her that she claimed sexually abused her? Okay.
No. So they're saying people, I'm not quite sure how deep the assault with her family goes, because some people are claiming that her brother was assaulting her as well. And her parents or her family, it was her home household was very toxic.
Yeah.
And some people even saying that they knew her personally, and they can attest that she was being abused. When I read those type of comments, I'm like, why didn't you step in?
Well, they're saying don't donate to the GoFundMe for her family either for those reasons.
Yeah. So I can't necessarily prove or deny it, but I can say that this woman's life was taken. And it turned into this whole conversation on social media with Black women coming at Black men talking about they need to be protected. Right? And this, that, and the third. And I looked at, I don't necessarily engage with all of that, because I'm able to talk about it right here. And I saw that, and I'm like, I'm not quite sure
where it started.
Not even where it started. Is like, I'm not quite sure why Black women coming at Black guys or Black men on some type of how the whole the narrative, the fallacy that Black on Black crime.
Yeah.
Now it's like, because one one Black man has taken the life of a Black woman, necessarily means now the Black man doesn't take or doesn't protect a Black woman. That's another fallacy and propaganda that's being promoted. And there's some guys out there, some bitch ass nigga guys out there that necessarily fall into that propaganda, and now start to put their back up straight and talking about, these guys are, me as an individual, I don't necessarily believe everything I see on the internet, and I don't necessarily believe just because one Black man might have taken the life of a Black woman, which is, people kill who they're around oftentimes, but it's not necessarily some type of attack on Black women or dark-skinned women.
Yeah. I think, well, I'm not a Black woman, so I can't fully attest or relate to it, but I think from what I was seeing and understanding was, I think the conversation was just coming from like, that they're also like yes, Black men are getting killed by police and women as well, but like I think Black women were just trying to get at the fact that like not only are they Black, but they're also women as well, which literally makes them the bottom of the whole power like structure or whatever you want to call it. And I think a lot of that frustration just comes from like like this one girl is speaking out and like whatever with like her freedom of speech and stuff on a situation that happened to her, and then she gets killed. I think it's just frustration that came out.
Yeah, I mean, I do think like a lot of people are frustrated. There's a lot of emotional draining things, but I would just implore a lot of people, sensible people, to take everything that you see with a grain of salt and still try to go about your life as righteous as possible. And don't necessarily think that Black men are essentially killing Black women, and I don't want women to think that Black men are necessarily your enemies as well.
That's what I was going to say is like, I don't think that people, when they see these tweets, if it's not specifically directed at you and it's not specifically calling you out, how instead of tweeting something defensive back in your defense, you actually just show love and appreciation for the Black woman who is tweeting that she feels this way. I think that would be a better thing to do.
Yeah, that's true. I just kind of just see it that I just kind of see it and I kind of keep it pushing.
Yeah, like if you're not the type to do that, but like if you were thinking about tweeting something defensive in response because you're like you feel defensive towards it, just tweet something back to support them instead.
Exactly. And so there's a lot of in-house fighting I see, but I hope that this woman gets a nice burial and the man is serves justice, and I guess her family is able to. I really don't know what to say about the family. If it's true, then it's bad. But we're seeing a lot of negativity that's going on in the world, and it's a really bad state right now, emotionally draining state, and everyone feels like they're at war or they're being attacked and things like that. Just take this time to, I really don't know what to say. Not much I can say, but hey, let's heal together.
Yeah, take your breaks when you need them from social media.
Exactly. And I know this is kind of a bad note to leave it on, but this is it. Anything else you would like to share, Nina?
No, not really. I don't have anything going on other than the podcast and hashtag, and that's it. But what about you?
No, this is it. This is lit. Yeah. I like to, so the watermelon is finished. The podcast is finished as well at this moment. not internally. But all right. So if you were listening to this podcast, you enjoy what you hear, make sure you check out some of our other podcasts. We have some other clips on our YouTube page that you want to check out, share with your friends as well, or, dive back more into our library and catch up on other things that you haven't heard about. And also, we'll be back again next week. And this has been another episode of the Educating the Reckless podcast with your host, Apollo P. and
No Better Nina.
Deuces.
Bye.